Hi everybody, it's Keris here helping you get into schools and nurseries, and I'm so happy to be joined by Gill today. Gill, would you like to introduce yourself and tell everyone about your amazing business?
Oh, thank you. My name's Gill Park, and I have got a business called Rainbow Park Yoga. I teach children meditation, mindfulness, and yoga, and mainly in schools. So that's what I do. I'm on a mission to help children with their mental, physical, and emotional health.
Fantastic, such a worthwhile business to be in. Now, can you remember when we first met, Gill?
Yes, I can. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
that was the first challenge. But I
yeah,
think that was about a year ago, Keris, when I did the first free challenge.
yeah, that's probably about right, isn't it? And then you've been
Yeah.
working with me in the Approaching Schools Academy for the last 6 months, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So when you joined that first free challenge, what was your reason for joining that, first of all?
I always knew that I wanted to work in schools. So I knew that just because of my lifestyle and things like that as well, because I have a son, um, that would be better for me, but also because I can reach more children
Yeah.
if I'm in schools than just with doing a community class. So like I do some classes at the weekend, but I can't do like every evening and every weekend day and things like that. I just can't work around that. And I knew that schools would be where I could reach more children and help more children ultimately. So that was when I started, and I think I got some work as a sessional worker just after that,
Yeah.
for a charity that works within schools. So I managed to do that, but I didn't do it as wholeheartedly as what I did it when I first started this year.
Right. Okay. So tell me about that then. Was that because you were quite busy with your other commitments?
I, d- I don't know why I didn't really do it at first. I started to get in and get some work, and I was really excited about that. And I used the template for sending emails.
Yeah.
Um, and I got some interest. So I started to get people starting to talk to me. That's the two schools actually that I'm working with just now. They started to talk to me off the back of the first one. But then I knew I needed to get more because obviously you're continually going into school. So I knew I needed to get more. And I knew I had to really commit to doing this because this is how teenagers really buy into what I do.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't come to a community class. You wouldn't get a teenager going, "Oh yes, I'm away to my meditation class," you know. So I knew that I had to get them where they are,
Yes.
to be able to help them. So yeah, that's why I went and did it for a second time.
Ah, amazing. And on that free challenge, I taught you pretty much everything you need to know to send out your communications to schools so that you can get tasters booked in.
Yeah,
So why did you decide to also join the Approaching Schools Academy after that then?
I think for that it was for me. It was like I knew that this had to be really serious for me, and I was willing to invest at this point in doing it because I also needed to understand more about the follow up and the meetings that you have
Yeah.
with teachers after it. And I think although I'd started to get a little bit of interest off the first challenge, I knew that I really had to get focused on following up and
Yes.
being persistent because after the first challenge, I would get, what's the word I'm looking for? A bit disheartened. A bit
Oh, yeah.
disheartened, like if because nobody got back to me. Well, not nobody. Obviously, there was a couple of schools that got back to me that were local, that maybe my son attended, things
Hmm.
like that, you know. Um, but then when I went for it the second time, so I've actually done 6 email campaigns. This was something I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Like I've done 6 email campaigns now. Um,
Wow.
the first ones, nothing.
Hmm.
Second one's when I started talking to schools that are in my own town.
Yeah.
And then recently, so I've just done my sixth. So then people are beginning to, so they then start talking about you on Twitter and
Yeah.
sharing you on Twitter.
Yes.
Then what happened is on the fifth one I did, I got 3 schools, but they really trickled in and I had to maybe extend the time of how long I was going to do it for.
Yeah.
And all of that happened. And then I sent So anti-bullying week is next week and World Kindness Day is on Monday. So I had sent out 2 weeks ago a campaign on Friday afternoon. I just thought, oh, do you know what? Anti-bullying week's coming up. I better send this email out. Sent the email out on Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock on Monday, all 5 spots were gone.
Wow, that is fantastic. What a dramatic difference from a year ago,
Yeah.
not really getting very much response at all, but staying consistent. And like you said, being persistent as well.
Yeah.
And having that consistent approach, understanding that it's not necessarily going to be a quick win, it is going to be a long game.
Yeah.
So in a year's time, having all 5 slots filled within a few days.
Yeah. That was it. And that's, I mean, they weren't in on the Saturday and the Sunday. So between the Friday at 3 o'clock and 10 o'clock on the Monday morning, 5 spots went, and that was all I had. I've had to say to 2 schools, sorry, you'll need to wait until the next campaign, which will be for children's mental health.
Yeah.
Or you can take a paid one. But they don't know, like, or trust me yet, do they? So they're going to wait for their free one. And that's fine. But I've already got 2 schools that want to take part for my next email campaign that will again only have 5 slots.
What an amazing problem to have, Gill.
Yeah, I know.
That's great. And people do worry sometimes, you know, what if I send out all these campaigns and actually I can't fulfill all of them? You know, what some people are often scared of that success as much as they're scared of failure. Whereas it's actually puts you in a very good position to be able to choose the schools now that you want to work with, which you probably didn't realize you'd be in that position a year ago. But 2, it only helps. They understand that, you know, next time they're going to have to get in fast if they want Rainbow Park yoga in their school, which is fantastic.
I can't believe you even said that.
I love that Karen's here because I know Karen was a huge inspiration for you, because you would have seen Karen on one of these videos about a year ago, wouldn't you?
Yeah. And Karen's been fantastic supporting me. Like, I'll text her, and I text her when I got my first school, my ideal school, and I was like, I can't believe this has happened. And she's been so supportive. And then we were talking about coming into the academy, and she spoke me through it, and I thought, right, okay, I'm going to go for it. You know, at that time I was really worried about money as well, because I went through a period this year where I had like no income for about 5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
And for me, if I can give anybody any advice, it's like plan for June, July, and August, like, because they don't want to do anything in June. Well, this is for Scotland.
Of course, for Scotland.
June, they're all like, oh, don't worry, we'll deal with that after the summer. July, there's nothing. August, they're just getting everybody back in. Yeah. So there was quite a few months where I had nothing, and I was like, oh my goodness, can I afford to do this? But now I think, can I have afforded not to do this? Because I really need it's the persistence. And I think it's just the support as well with the mindset coaching and like the business catch-ups that we have on a Monday and one Monday a month. Like they're really supportive, because I was disheartened, and it took me 6 campaigns, and then 5 slots are gone, like in hours, and school hours. And I'm already booking up for my next campaign of 3 slots. So
amazing. Well, congratulations on that. It is testament to you for persisting for that long. And I remember we had conversations before where you'd done some tasters, and you hadn't perhaps managed to have conversations yet with the right people. And then suddenly it was summer holidays already in Scotland, and you knew you were having to wait until the summer was over to start having those conversations again. But you did persist, you did follow up with them, you did make sure those conversations happened right after the holiday break. And here we are, getting 5 slots booked up within a few hours technically, if they're not in over weekends.
Just mad.
It's amazing, but it's all testament to you and how well you've persisted with this. And I guess you've kind of found a formula that works for you now, that you can replicate and repeat. So you mentioned the mindset coaching has really, really helped you. Through that, because we have Philippa, who's our approaching schools mindset expert. She comes into the academy once a month to do a Zoom call with you all, but she's also recorded videos for the self-study course in terms of kind of following up and making sales with head teachers Talk me through like a little bit more about that sort of process of working with Philippa and how that's helped you specifically, if you don't mind.
Well, that's Philippa is kind of similar in the work that I do with
Yeah.
children. She's doing it with us, but it's so easy to not take your own advice.
Yes.
So it's better when Philippa's telling you to do it. And some of the things that were within the academy that I really enjoyed, that I thought were really good, were about the language. So she talks about the language that you use, about investing. So, you know, when people are saying about budgets and things, and you're talking about, well, you know, would you like to invest in this rather than do you think you can afford this?
Yeah.
You know, it's can you invest in this for your children? And I think that, and understanding my own mindset as well, like, because I was thinking, oh, they don't want to talk to me, like I'm pestering them. I think for the first school, my ideal school, I was speaking to him for 6 months.
Were you?
And he was just like, things just weren't right. When he brought me in for a meeting, I was in his school on the first Monday after they went back for a meeting. And he was like, things just weren't right. Everything was getting reorganised with COVID. We weren't really allowed people back in fully. I've really wanted to get you in, and thanks for emailing me again, because, you know, they're so busy. They've got so much going on. And I think you realise that when you're in the schools, especially when you're in a high school, there's thousands of children walking about. There's hundreds of teachers walking about. Can you imagine how many emails they're getting in a day?
Yeah.
And then there's just me. Would you like me to come along for half an hour? You know, and then thinking I'm being a pest, but I'm not being a pest, because he's going, yeah, that would be nice. But then little Johnny comes in and he's done something really bad in the playground, and you have to go out and manage playground duty and, you know, all of that. So, but I think the mindset coaching for me was just like, it gives me a reminder of the things that I teach other people to do.
It's so interesting you say that, and we would all as coaches probably say that, you know, that's why we all have a coach, right, to remind us of the things that we're not doing, even if it's something that we help other people do. But what's really interesting is I'm thinking back to some of the Zoom calls I've seen Philippa do with you guys, and I would say there is a large proportion of people on the call who are like mindfulness, mental health, you know, therapists, that are actually taking the call. So it just goes to show I don't think you're alone in that thinking at all.
Yeah. And the other thing she says all the time to remind you of is when you think, oh, I just don't think I'm good enough, and I just don't think they value what I do. And she always says to you, a part of me thinks they don't value what I do. So I've really started talking to myself like that. Oh, that's a part of me. That's not all of me. Because she always says it. And I think Philippa will give me into trouble if I don't think that way.
Yeah. Brilliant. And you mentioned the check-in calls with me as well, the Zoom calls for your sort of business strategy. Tell me about those and how they've helped.
They really help because you hear everybody else as well. I think when you're running a business by yourself, so I've just started this up. I was 24 years in finance. I jacked it all in and decided to do this. And I'm almost 2 years later since I left. And what I've realised about this becoming self-employed is it's really lonely. It's quite a lonely place to be. People don't understand what you're going through, how you're worrying about paying your bills every month. You've never got regular money coming in. You know, you're trying, and there's all this other work, and people say, what are you actually doing? I mean, you're only teaching 2 classes a week. What are you actually doing? Well, you're writing those classes, you're doing your finance, you're doing all this stuff. You're sending all these emails all of the time.
Yeah.
But that support, to hear that other people are thinking the same things as you, is that's honestly second to none. And to have you there to be able to support us to do that, even if I don't have a question, I always want to be on there, because it's like-minded people. It's people who've jumped and taken the leap and decided to do something that everybody else are like, oh, I wouldn't do that. You know, oh, you need to be able to pay your mortgage. And yeah, you do. And as a single parent, like, I absolutely am the only person paying the bills in here. So that was kind of crazy. And I've had real moments, especially over the 6 months where I didn't have any income, where I've thought, what am I doing? But coming on those calls, speaking to everybody else, asking questions, getting advice, and then going out and continuing to do the work that you've said that we have to do, and you're beginning to get results. It's trickling in. You just have to keep believing.
Yes.
And then this happens, and then comes another problem. So now I'm like, right, okay, so I've secured all these skills, and that's fine, and I'm working in there, and then I think, oh, are they going to book me for next term? There's always something else.
Yeah, you've got that support on an ongoing basis. That's why I always refer to it as a bit of a journey when we're approaching schools, because it's, you get in for a term. Now what? Now you want to renew that school. Maybe you want to upgrade that school into a higher package offer. What do you do then? So you're right. You have always got that support, but also what you just said, I hear all the time particularly from children's activity providers, is people at home don't understand, or my circle of friends don't understand, and it's really nice just to hear from other people that are just doing the same thing as me day in, day out. And it's also really good to hear that the ones that I thought were really successful are also having the same problems or little blips as me as well. So it's just really nice, isn't it, to have that support network and to feel like you're not alone. So that's the kind of the live support that you get from myself and from Philippa. We have weekly Q&As as well. What about the self-study course, the videos, the templates, the worksheets that you get private access to?
They're great. They're just like, I have to be honest, I've not managed to finish the course because I've been so busy.
Yeah.
that I'm like, when am I going to get this done? I'm thinking I'm going to have to do that in the Christmas holidays.
You've got plenty of time. That's why we give you the 12 months access, because we know things get in the way. But for you, very good things. Very, very good things.
But I've been able to go in. The thing for me that's been really beneficial is I can go in, because I did do the 5-day challenge before, and I had an email template. I can jump into the areas that I really need.
Yeah.
So I'm jumped into selling with ease. I've jumped into the show up for follow-up, I think, something like that. Like I can jump in and I can do these ones, and it just like whatever I need whenever I need it. Or if I think, oh wait, I'm going to go and check back to like how to secure the meeting with a head teacher or whatever, I can go in and I can jump in and I can get what I need. And that's the bit that's kind of been imperative for me so far. And the way things are going, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, am I going to have to jump into recruiting someone soon? Like,
you may well need to. It's surprising. I mean, when we first brought that bonus module out, attracting your dream team member, it was because people were going through the academy and finding themselves fully booked much quicker than they realised. Again, a great problem to have. But now it was right. If I want to carry on approaching schools, I am going to need to bring on a team. So you may well be there pretty soon, Gill, if it keeps going the way it's going. But you have that support available, and that's why it was important to me to make the self-study course instant access to all modules, rather than to have to go through at everybody else's pace, because everybody's at different levels, everybody's at different journeys. Some people like you will join after a second free challenge or something like that, so you're already aware of the first initial steps. But now, like, somebody who didn't get the right level of response will want to go deeper into the follow-up and have access to that module. Someone who had a lot of success on the free challenge might want to get straight into the selling with ease module, so they can learn how to sell to head teachers and get everything prepped and ready. I know that was something you were doing over your summer break, was getting everything prepped and ready, really just using that module to get yourself sorted while the schools weren't open. So everyone's at different stages, and then for everyone, they're going to need to start adopting that consistent approach and using the tools in the academy to plan out their campaigns all year round, with the calendar and the calculator and all your different themes and things like that. So that's really, really good to hear. I'm really pleased that you kind of enjoy that format, because you can just dip in and dip out.
And they're really bite size as well. So like if I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I need to make the dinner, and I've got a taster first thing in the morning. And I need to jump in and get something, I can just jump in and get it. And it's maybe a 2 or a 3 minute video, 4 minute videos. They're really good. Like if I'm needing a bit of kind of mindset coaching, I can jump into the bit that Philip has done. If it's and then kind of planning as well, like planning for how many schools do I need, all that, so that I can cover my course. But then it turns out actually schools seem to be, I'm thinking they're just going to buy an 8-week program of 1 hour a week, and actually they're buying 3 hours a week. So actually, I might have not needed as many schools as what I thought, because more of them are taking me on for longer in the day. They're mostly taking half days from me now. So
that's fantastic. That is the one thing that I would say I'm most proud of regarding the Approaching Schools Academy, is that our members really do get schools buying more from them and for longer than they
yeah,
ever realise. A lot of people fall into the trap of thinking it's easier to sell a one-off cheap session than it is to sell like an entire year or a block or whatever it might look like. And as
yeah,
you found, actually, schools, when they see the value, are going to find it of a better investment for them if they pay you more and for longer. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
fantastic to hear.
So like today, I had like 4. So today I'm in a school and I'm in there for 3.5 hours a
Yeah,
week, and they give me, so that's like four periods of a day. So I get 4 groups of children, one after the other,
yeah,
like every age group of the school coming, and there's just like a small amount of. It depends on what you do, obviously, who's going to be targeted to come to you.
yeah,
But then
yeah,
I've noticed the next phone call that I'm expecting after this, similar. I'm thinking, oh, you're going to want me in for one 45-minute class a week.
yeah.
And there's my dog in the background sneaking onto my
Oh,
bed. She's not
lovely.
she's not allowed on there.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, so they're actually booking me for like 3 hours. Actually, I've got more. If you're doing mindfulness, meditation, and yoga, I could have you in doing yoga at lunchtime, and then I've got other kids that are,
yeah,
additional support needs kids that could really use you within the nurture room as a safe space to sit for the next
yeah.
couple of hours and take the kids in and out.
Amazing. So you are literally taking orders from them. You're not trying to sell, you're not having awkward sales conversations. They've seen the value. You've demonstrated how the children respond, and they're now asking you, could you also do this? Could you also
Yeah,
help these children? Because they've seen the value, you've shown them, how you're different, and now the selling has become the next logical step. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy
thank
for you,
you,
Gill. That's
thank you.
fantastic. And let's talk about that for a minute then. You're expecting a call shortly from a
Yeah,
school that you've recently done a demonstration with. But you've had some real success lately with schools. And, at the beginning of this call, you mentioned that, there was a 6-month period where you just didn't have money, but you
yeah.
decided to invest anyway. What has your return on investment been so far in the last 6 months, if you don't mind me asking?
So actually, the work started at the beginning of October.
Yeah.
And this is really just work from October to December.
Really
So
recent.
yeah, so far, it's 2,000. Let me check. So 2,300 is what I've
Amazing.
made from 2 8-week blocks, and the phone call that I'm expecting should be at least £1,400 for another week of stuff.
Fantastic. And of course, if that's just for a term, then
Yeah,
we can very much expect that if you're doing a great job and the children still very much need you on an ongoing basis, that you're going to be renewing that figure every term and
yeah.
potentially getting your new schools on top of that. And very,
Believe
very quickly, then you've actually way more than doubled your initial
Yeah,
investment in the Approaching Schools Academy.
yeah.
That's fantastic to hear.
I knew it would be worth it at the time, but taking the leap when you didn't have income was scary.
Exactly.
It's like
It is
scary,
scary.
terrifying. But I just knew it was going to work for me. I just knew. I've always kind of known since before the summer, since the school broke up at summer. I've just known that I've just been on the cusp of making it happen.
Yeah.
And now it's happening. And now what's the next thing? What the next thing you're worried about is, are they going to book me for the next term,
Yeah.
But I knew I was
You're
on
in
the
the right
cusp of
place for
making
that. We'll
this
help you with
happen.
that.
Yeah, I knew I was on the cusp of making this happen. So yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, congratulations, Gill. I'm so, so, so happy for you. Really
Thank
deserve
you.
it. What you do in schools up in Scotland is absolutely amazing. I'm so pleased to have been a small part of that journey for you. And of course,
A
it's
big part.
not over yet.
A big part.
Not over yet. Would you have anything else to say to anyone else that's considering coming into the Approaching Schools Academy in the future?
Do it. I think that's about it. Just like do it, because it's definitely it's worth it, but it's hard to make that leap when financially you don't have it. It really is hard to make that leap. But And be persistent is also what I would say. It's the support that it gives you, and be persistent. I was 6 campaigns in, I'm sending 60 emails a campaign. I'm 6 campaigns in. That's a lot of emails, so don't be disheartened by that, because they do want to hear from you. Like you say, they don't know, like, or trust you yet. But once they do, and then you go in and you feel like, I feel like a part of the teaching staff in these schools, So yeah, I would say go for it. It's
That's
definitely
so
helping.
lovely that you feel a part of the teaching staff, because the more we embed ourselves in the life of the school, the more
Yeah,
they're going to see you that way, and it becomes a no-brainer to just renew. Of course we're going to renew Rainbow Park Yoga. They're part of the school now.
yeah,
So
yes.
that's fantastic. Well, congratulations, well done on all of your
Thank
success. I can't
you.
wait to see what's next for you. I'm here for you when you're ready to start building that team.
Oh my
Get into even
goodness.
more schools in Scotland.
I know. What did you say? Sorry.
Get you into even more schools in Scotland than you possibly imagined if you get a
I
team in
know.
place.
It's bonkers to even think about it, but I'm actually, like, I was looking at my diary, and I don't have any more space this year. I'm booked up. I'm fully booked. In May, I thought, why am I doing this to myself? July, I was beside myself. And now I'm fully booked until the end of the year, and I'm taking bookings for January to March.
Wow. So proud of you.
Yeah.
Joanna's here. Joanna's saying
Thanks,
well done.
Joanna. That's my friend's sister. Hi.
Oh, lovely.
She's got a lovely wee business as well. She'll be
Oh,
next.
fab. Oh, brilliant. Listen, it's been fantastic to speak to you. Thank you so much
And
for
you.
the time. I think people will be really inspired by what you've just said, because I think there will be people watching who maybe they've tried contacting schools and they're not quite there yet. And maybe like you, they are feeling a bit disheartened. And I
Yeah.
think this will give them the inspiration and motivation they need to just keep going. And if it takes 6 campaigns and it takes another 6 months, isn't that worth it for the types of jobs that
100%.
you're
Like,
experiencing?
I now help. My goal when I started this business is I wanted to help. I could actually cry saying this. I wanted to help 100 children a week, at least 100 children a week. And now I help more than 100 children a week, and that makes me want to cry.
I love
Yeah,
it. And that's like, you and I are so aligned. I know when we've had a chat on the phone before, I think possibly even before you'd taken a free challenge,
yeah,
maybe.
we did actually.
I
I'm
know
actually
that
crying.
that was your big mission, and we were
Yeah,
so aligned. I was like, I really want to help Gillian do this, because it's kind of like helps my mission as well. I
yeah.
mean, get a team in place, you could be having thousands.
My goodness. It was make me cry helping 100, Can you imagine if I'm helping thousands? I'll be a puddle on the floor.
Well, I'll be here interviewing you next
Oh,
time. Do check
amazing.
in with me and let me know when you're
I
helping
will.
1,000 children, and we'll catch up again.
Thank
Well,
you so much for all your help, Keris.
oh, you're more than welcome. It's been an
Thank you.
absolute pleasure to support you on this. Great. Well, thank you so much for inspiring so many people on this video, and I'll speak to you soon.
See you later.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.